Denmark also has protests, just as France has the Yellow Jackets. Denmark unveils quote-unquote unwanted immigrant solution. Banish them to remote disease research island. Authored by Kelly Ballard via Liberty Nation. This is on Zero Hedge by Tyler Durden. Denmark has taken a bold new step in its efforts to combat the influx of illegal aliens. Send them to a remote island. While this may seem like a fantasy to many of us, sending criminals off to a deserted island and away from the rest of society, the Danes are making this fantasy island a reality. And of course, not everyone is happy about it. It's Lindholm Island. It's important to make clear that this is not for illegal immigrants going into the country, only for those who have committed criminal acts or who are rejected asylum, the asylum seekers, rejected asylum seekers that for some reason cannot be deported. Martin Henriksen of the anti-immigration Danish People's Party, DF, said the government's plan, quote, is a signal to the world that Denmark is not attractive for migrants, end quote. A DF spokesperson said, foreign criminals have no reason to be in Denmark. Until we can get rid of them, we will move them to the island of Lindholm, where they will be obliged to stay at the new deportation center at night, with police on site around the clock, end quote. Obviously, bleeding heart protesters consider this move inhuman and are trying to fight the plan, but Denmark's politicians are firm on their promise to remove illegal aliens, especially those with criminal backgrounds. A DF tweet shows a cartoon video of a dark-skinned man being transported by boat to the island, and that did not go over well with those who oppose a new plan. The English translation reads, quote, expel criminal aliens have nothing to do in Denmark. Until we can get rid of them, we now move them out on the island Lindholm in Steg Bay, where they will be obliged to stay at the new exit center at night, and there will be police present around the clock. Island life. So what would life on Lindholm Island be like for the migrants? Rejected asylum seekers who cannot be deported are given accommodations where they cannot prepare their own meal, food, an allowance of $1.20 per day, which is withheld if they fail to cooperate with the authorities. The 17-acre island is about 2 miles from the nearest shore in an inlet of the Baltic Sea. The inhabitants will not be stranded there like the hapless cast from Gilligan's Island, but they will be required to report to the center daily or face imprisonment. A ferry service will be available to take them to and from the island, but the service will be infrequent. Quote, we're going to minimize the number of ferry departures as much as at all as possible, Henrik said. We're going to make it as cumbersome and expensive as possible. Finance Minister Christian Jensen said, while they are not actually prisoners on the island is not a prison, placement there will help control the criminal alien population. Quote, there are more limits to how much you can move around when you are on a desert island. You are in principle obliged to remain on the island, so you will have more control over where they are. The growing roster of repeat alien criminal offenders is one of the reasons behind this project, he added. It's a problem for us that we can see that some foreigners who have in fact been sentenced to deportation are still committing crimes, and we have no way of monitoring them, end quote. Denmark has taken an aggressive stance on immigration for some time now. To tighten its immigration laws, the country has extended waiting time for family members from 1 year to 3 years before they can join a refugee, shortened temporary resident permits, I'm sure they meant to say refuge, shortened temporary resident permits and reduced benefits for asylum seekers. In 2016, the country added a law that allowed authorities to seize valuables from illegal aliens to help pay for their costs to stay in the country. Danish citizens can also be penalized and must sell any valuables worth more than 10,000 kroner, which is $1,520, before they can receive welfare benefits. From 1926 until earlier this year, Lindholm Island was the site of laboratory facilities to research contagious animal diseases. Cattle and pigs thought to be infected were taken to the island for testing. The island and facilities are to be decontaminated by 2019, and by 2021 the area will open to about 100 migrants. Kindly support my Patreon account, since that's the only way I can continue what you like seeing on this channel. Thank you. You'll find it in the description box below.